Alright everyone, what's going on? Tuning in for another stream. This week, we're doing some Weekly Shonen Jump. Not sure what I'm going to start with just yet. I'm a little bit more behind on other manga than others, so I think we'll leave it to the chat. But for now, we'll give everyone a few minutes to hop in. Hello, Velen. I've never commented on your videos, but I really like them. Well, thank you, Velen. I appreciate that. And thank you for hopping into the stream. Pleasure to have you. And I'm looking forward to you being a part of the discussion today. What's up, Justin? How you doing, man? Yeah, I wanted to stream at 2:30, but my video scripting took a little longer than I wanted it to today, just a little bit. So I decided to push it back by about 30 minutes. Right now, I'm just sharing this on Twitter. And then I think what I'll do is I'll ask you guys what you think or what you would like me to start the stream with from Jump, as far as what I read. How am I doing? I'm doing good, man. I'm making a good pace with my video schedule. I was really happy to see that everyone liked the fairy tale art style video. Other than that, I've been playing a lot of Battlefield 5 in the last few days. I don't know why, I've just been really craving like a fun shooter experience. I'm kind of tired of Overwatch. I'm tired of... I almost played Call of Duty, but I don't have the new one. And for some reason, I just gravitated towards Battlefield. But I'm like very close to picking up MW2. Because MW2 I played a ton of back whenever it came out, like a year or so ago. Soul, what's going on? Pleasure to have you, man. How you doing? Trevor, pleasure to have you. Good to hear from you too. How you doing, man? What's everyone playing for video games lately? I'm curious. I know we got Evo going on right now, and we just had the big Steam summer sale, so what's everyone been playing for video games? Even if you haven't bought a new game, what's something you've been playing lately? if you want a fresh shooter like Doom, I'd give Ultra Kill a shot. Glad to hear you've been doing good, Trevor. Yeah, it's been a hot minute, huh? So, what is, like, excuse me, I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that, everyone. Yeah, I just had to step away for a second. So what I was trying to say, Trevor, was what is Ultra Kill? Like, give me the, like, 2-second elevator pitch. Like, I know you said it's basically Doom, but, like, what's its shtick, I guess? Ultra Kill is a first-person shooter where you're a robot in hell and you shoot demons, punch back projectiles, and feel the adrenaline like Dark Souls like encounters. Highly recommend. Is it third person or first person? But that does sound pretty fun. I'll have to look into it. I mainly like multiplayer shooters, but I can appreciate a good single player game. Let's see. Justin, yeah, I've been meaning to play Cyberpunk for the longest time, and I haven't really made the time for it. But I know in the recent years people have been having a lot of fun with that game. Purely first person? Okay, good. I generally prefer first person shooters. Oh, so you did get the Steam Deck. How are you liking it in general? I know you just said you're playing around with it, but how do you like it so far? Valen said, yeah, 2-week Minecraft phase. Yeah, that's what happens. Summer comes around, you're like, man, this is a perfect time to play Minecraft. And then you play Minecraft, you're like, yeah, I want to play something else. Yeah, I've heard of Celeste. That sounds pretty fun. Yeah, the Cyberpunk anime is awesome. They really need to do case studies on the Cyberpunk anime, because which came out first, Cyberpunk or Arcane? I think Cyberpunk the anime came out before Arcane. But I mean, those are just master classes of like man, there's just this great content. Let's just make it animated and show people how cool it is. Like, there's so many series that need like a proper anime adaptation. Like Guilty Gear, my favorite game series, is getting an anime finally. I don't think it's gonna blow up like either of those other series, but it'll at least get some exposure. Dark Souls needs like a good anime. There's so many other series like that. Thank you, Black Prism. I appreciate the inspiring words, and I appreciate you dropping in to say that. Hopefully, you can hang out for a bit, but if not, it's a pleasure to have you. Have I watched To Your Eternity? No. No, I might have watched like the first episode, but it looks good, but it doesn't really seem like my vibe. I've got a certain I'm at a point where like I've got so many different things I want to do where it's like, you know, reading 30 different manga, playing like 5 or 10 different video games, watching this movie, watching this TV show, reading this book. I've kind of just narrowed it down to like the things that like I have a pretty good feeling I'm gonna want to watch. And I don't know, To Your Eternity just seems like one of those series where like it just seems kind of miserable, which I get. That's the point, which is why I don't discredit anyone saying that they like that series. It's just out of all the things I want to watch, it just doesn't seem like something where like I want to watch the new romance anime this season. Alia Speaks in Russian, or Alia Loves You in Russian. And I'm like, would I really take the time to watch To Your Eternity over that? And I'm just the kind of person where I'm like, nah, I think I'd rather watch the cute Russian girl. Anyway, so let's do this. What would, excuse me. Now, like I'm not really feeling any particular manga and Jump. I kind of just want to read whatever. So I'll ask all you folks, what manga would you like me to read, at least first? I'd like to read at least a few, but we'll see. I can tell you right now, I'm only like a few chapters behind on One Piece. I'm completely caught up on JJK. I know it's not Weekly Shonen Jump, but I'm caught up on Chainsaw Man. What else? I am kind of behind on Kagurabachi, if people want to have me read Kagurabachi. I'm definitely behind on Dead Unluck. Very behind on Sakamoto Days. Very behind on Elusive Samurai. What else? I'm kind of feeling Akane Banashi too, but yeah, there's a bunch of stuff I'm behind on. I'm pretty much caught up on My Hero. I'm like 1 or 2 chapters behind. I'm like 10 chapters behind on Astro Royale. And before JJK, yeah, I would read JJK, but I'm like completely caught up. Like as of this Sunday, I've read every chapter. Let me ask people this. For those of you, those cultured folks who read everything in Jump and are like caught up or have at least started Astro Royale, how are we feeling about Astro Royale right now? Because when the series came out, I saw a big reaction to it, and now 13 weeks later, I feel like all discourse for this series is just dead. So while I'm sure it's got some popularity in Japan, I have not seen anyone talking about this series. I will just say this about Astro Royale. In the few chapters that I have read, I do like it. Like I've said before, I just think it's a matter of finding, its own thing. One, it's got to stand out from Tokyo Revengers. And two, it's got to stand out from everything else in Jump, which is kind of what usually kills a lot of these action series, is like on their own, they're really good. But because they're in Shonen Jump, because they have to compete with One Piece, My Hero, at the time, Black Clover, all that stuff, like they get smothered. All right, thanks for stopping in, Trevor. Yeah, feel free to hit me up anytime. We can voice chat, whatever, all that good stuff. I'd love to talk to you for a bit, maybe even play a game or two. So Justin says he thinks Astro Royale is just okay. Yeah, I think it's all right. I mean, judging by the radio silence, I think that's just kind of the state of things with Astro Royale. I think people either don't really care to check it out at all, or they have and they're like, I just don't care. Nothing good or bad. I just don't really feel any particular way about it. Yeah, My Hero's almost done. That's kind of crazy to think about. Where am I for Akane Banashi? I'm kind of feeling Akane Banashi. I have to look and see. It says I'm on the most recent chapter, but that can't be right. Oh, so I'm actually like all caught up on Akane Banashi. I thought I was really behind. So I'll leave that for another time. It's kind of tricky then. You know what? Let's read some One Piece. It's feeling like a One Piece kind of day. obviously the desktop version is no help, so let's look at my phone. Yeah, for anyone who reads, who uses the Viz website or the Weekly Shonen Jump website, is there like a trick to kind of personalizing it so it remembers like which chapter you're on? Because for me, like every time I go to like the chapters list for a manga, if I'm on the app, like obviously the app is like, oh, you left off on chapter whatever, 107. And then if you go to the website, it's like, I don't know, dude, figure it out. But let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm actually not that far behind on One Piece. One Piece, I'm only 2 chapters behind. So you want to know what? I think it would be more appropriate to catch up on Astro Royale and kind of give my thoughts on what I think this manga has for a future ahead of it. Mission Yozakura Family. Yeah, I need to catch up on that before that ends. I'd like to be able to say I was there when it ended. Nothing quite like that feeling. I think after we read this, if we have time, we'll read some Kagurabachi. If there's a trick, I haven't figured it out. Yeah, that's like the one. There's when the K Manga app came out, everyone like talked about the Jump app like it's perfect. The Jump app is not perfect. It is nearly perfect. It has 2 issues. One, this isn't so much an app problem as a site problem, but it's kind of inconsistent when it comes to like tracking your progress. So like right now, I'm on Astro Royale's page, and it's highlighting chapter 3, which is accurate. The last chapter I had read was chapter 3, so that makes sense. But for the most part, unless you're on the app, which is not always the case, then you're kind of on your own. The other issue is, say what you will about the K Manga app, but there's like no latency, buffering issues, whatever. I've been reading a ton of manga lately, and nothing pisses me off more than when I'm trying to just like binge through a series and the app like freezes up and like it freezes on a page and I have to spend like 5 minutes trying to fix it. Now granted, that could be like a traffic thing, like, oh, so many people are using the app at the same time that, you know, it's freezing up, but I just think that's a program problem. I don't think that's like a network problem. Anyway, wildly niche tangent. Let's read some Astro Royale. Did I see that Dandadan got added to the Shonen Jump app? Yeah, it's been on there for a while though, hasn't it? I'm pretty sure it's been on there for like, because I know, like, because it's Jump Plus, it's just been on the site traditionally. But I could have sworn they moved it to the Jump app at least a couple of months ago, but I could be wrong. Anyway, so I'm just going to look at chapter 3 real quick just to see where we left off. Okay, yeah. So at the end of chapter 3, so chapter 3, they kind of figured out their abilities a bit, and they went to one of the brothers, and he's like, yeah, here's what happened. Everyone's kind of doing their own thing. And so now the main character, whose name I already forgot, he's going to the first of the brothers he's going to try and recruit His name is Kuran. The 10th adopted son who climbed his way up the ranks by pure skill alone. And he looks like a nice, respectable young man with all kinds of crazy tattoos, champagne, no shirt, of course. So yeah, let's see where this takes us. So we're starting with Astro Royale, Chapter 4, the Ike Bukuro 2. Interesting. Actually, before I get into this chapter, Jose asked a good question, so I want to answer this. Also, this isn't a racist question. I know it's kind of a touchy subject, but this isn't a racist question. This is a matter of, representation, stuff like that. Jose asked, do I think Robin's going to have her old look like she originally did in the anime when they do the One Piece remake, or will she have her new skin tone? I don't know. That's a good question. First of all, I don't even know if the anime will get that far. I don't know how far they've said they're going to go. Because if it's going to be like the live action, then that'll just be East Blue. But at the same time, they have given the impression that they're going to breeze through a lot of stuff. So it could be that they at least touch on the stuff in Alabasta. But to answer your question, I don't know. That's kind of like a judgment call. I don't know enough about like what Oda's intentions were in the beginning. But it's definitely something to think about. Anyway, that's One Piece. We're looking at Astro Royale. We're on chapter 4. So we're getting a look at this neighborhood, and the brother Kuran has sort of arranged his gang so that because the police are all gone, all his brothers, all his gang are kind of like the local law. They're gangsters, but, somebody steals a purse, they're there to stop the thief. I think that's pretty cool. And it's pretty on brand with the Tokyo Revengers style of justice. God, I wish I could. I wish I could remember this main character's name. His consigliere is Tarasu. I just remembered that. But the main character, he's looking pretty fun. Like he walks into the club and he's just like, "Oh, my body just started dancing." Like that's pretty funny. The family's number one street fighter. He's the top dog of the Sonmen Roppi Kuron Yotsurugi. Yeah, this guy seems badass. Plus, he's got a crazy hairstyle. Naturally, of the Tokyo Revengers aesthetic. And then he goes, "Don't mind me, just keep on partying." This guy's awesome. Hibaru, that's his name. Now I remember that. So, Ike Bukuro has a new leader. It's this other character, a more evil looking character at that. Apparently, he's the weakest of all the siblings. But because of the meteor strike, the Astro, whatever it's called, he got 4 arms. I don't know how I feel about this ability. I get where it's going. It's called Ashura, so it's like, you know, tied to like Buddha themes and all that, or Buddhist themes. But it seems kind of lame. Alright, this seems like it's building up to a good fight. So we're on chapter 5. It's Hibaru versus Ko. Throwdowns according to Yotsurugi family code. When siblings disagree, they are to settle their matter with a one-on-one fist fight. Seems pretty straightforward. So that's pretty funny. So he accuses Hibaru of his Astro just being like, your right arm is really strong or something. But like, what is his ability? That he has 4 more arms? Like, how stupid is that? Buddhist things like having a giant ring looking wings on their backs. Yeah, I've seen one of those before. Yeah. Yeah, this fight went about as I expected it to. Evil-ish dude is like, hey, I have a power, and, you know, you're too soft. And then soft person is like, yeah, well, you're stupid and mean, and being mean is stupid. So, power up. So, Kuran got an Astro in the middle of this fight. Cheshire Cat, my transformation Astro. I made a wish to be able to smile and do silly impressions, and that's the Astro I got. Interesting. So I like these first few chapters. I think they're somewhat predictable. I don't think they're bad. Um, they don't really stand out a ton, I guess. But I like where this is going. Hello, Aziz. What's going on? Thank you. I appreciate you saying how much you like the videos. Will I ever do the Art of Dragon Ball? Yes. I would like to do that eventually. However, because that series is so iconic and because it's influenced so many manga, I do want to kind of take the time to do that proper. On that note, I also have other, art series videos planned. So when and if I do that video, it probably won't be for a while, but I would like to do it eventually. All right, so we are on chapter 7. And naturally, they're like me right now making fun of Kuran, his Astro being just a silly tail.
Have a question or need how-to advice?
Excuse me.
Just ask Medic.
There we go. What's up, Party Jams? How you doing? So we're actually reading Astro Royale right now, and part of that was because one, it's one of the manga that I'm actually behind on a bit. Like I went to go read One Piece, I was caught up on that. I'm caught up on My Hero. I'm caught up on JJK. So I was like, let me read Astro Royale. And the other reason is, I asked everyone, like, what are your thoughts on Astro Royale right now? And I kind of got radio silence, which gave me the impression of like nobody's really reading it, which to confirm that, I don't really see anyone talking about it on Sundays. Now, granted, I'm not reading Jump every Sunday like I would like to be. So I'm not in the conversations as much, but I really don't see anyone talking about this. So I want to catch up and kind of see where I'm at as far as what kind of future this manga has. What's going on in the manga so far? So right now, they're kind of dealing with Kuran and his group, and we're dealing with what's his character's name? Ko, and whether Ko is going to join them or not. Is it me, or does Kuran look almost exactly like the twins from Tokyo Revengers? With his like shirt on anyway. With his like tank top sort of vibe. He's got all the tattoos, but with the shirt on and his like old school haircut, he kind of just looks like the twins. So they're asking Hibaru, so what are we gonna do now that we have our own group? And he's like, I think I'll start my own faction. And they're like, okay. And he's like, yeah, we're gonna call it the Hibaru faction. And they're like, so that's it? I like the humor in this manga. It's got that sense of like down to earth humor that Tokyo Revengers does. Again, as far as chapter 7, I think it's really just struggling to kind of stand out on its own. It's doing all the small things right. I just think as of chapter 7, so pretty much pretty much right where volume 1 would end, it just kind of, I feel like it kind of relies on a lot of the same stuff as Tokyo Revengers. So if you're like totally blatant to Tokyo Revengers, that's fine. But if you've read Tokyo Revengers and now you're reading this, it does kind of feel like just more of the same. Is Astro Royale even going to make an impact like JJK or the other stuff? I don't know. I think it's, as of chapter 7, it's still too early for me to say, at least. But I do think it has potential. Can't say Astro Royale is anything special, but definitely try it yourself. Won't say too much to avoid coloring your opinion. Thank you. I appreciate that. But that does kind of inform what I assumed, which was as of chapter, what is it, 15, it's still kind of struggling to find its own sense of personality. But again, that's still early. That's still only like, what is it, volume 2. So we're on chapter 8, Haunted House, with a really nice color page, I might add. And we're starting out the chapter in one of my favorite parts of Tokyo, thanks to Fire Force, Asakusa. Although, unfortunately, now it looks like it's been completely trashed, but, you know, I can still make a Fire Force reference whenever I feel like it. I have to say, while the story is kind of basic, I do really like Hibaru. I think he stands out from the sort of main characters of Tokyo Revengers. And while he is kind of the perfect balance of Takamichi and Mikey, he does kind of like, he's more of like a, what's the word? Not synthesis. He's a case of like the sum is greater, or he's greater than the sum of the two parts. Like, he is both those characters, but also he is his own character. Like, he knows the cops by name. He doesn't really take everything over seriously. And he's like, you know what? I get it. You're a cop. You're trying to do your job. But why don't we take care of things? It takes an outlaw to deal with an outlaw. You let us, Yakuza, take care of it. Like, it's just like a simple thing. But, like, it's kind of like a cool aspect of his character. So I think, at least as of chapter 8, that's kind of where the potential of this series is. So we're being introduced. So they're in a mansion that's supposedly home to a gang of thieves. And we run into another one of the new characters. Genji's daughter, Hibaru, and Tarasu's childhood friend, Kinpa Yobana. And she has an Astro crystal clear compact. Interesting. So I'm curious to find out what her Astro does. So that was a nice start to what I'm assuming is like a new, smaller arc. I didn't even know Tokyo Revenger had more seasons. The Curse of Disney Plus. Yeah. It was that, and also just hype for Tokyo Revengers kind of died thanks to the manga ending. For the longest time, it was manga readers hyping up the anime. So once they kind of lost their faith in the series, there was not really anyone to sort of prop up the anime. So this is an interesting MO. They all get attacked by giant monsters, they all get covered in wax, and then there's always a single rose at the scene of the crime. So I'm guessing that the Astro is triggered by the roses, that as soon as someone smells the roses, they get trapped in an illusion. The Astros don't work on girls. Yeah, the monsters can't come out if you don't sniff. So I was right. That was pretty obvious. After your victims panic from the hallucinations, you freeze them with wax and steal their stuff. Interesting. Okay, so we found out that Kuron can, in fact, transform into objects, not just people. And he transformed into a giant fan. So, okay, so it wasn't the roses. I was going to say, because I was like, roses don't really smell. They don't really have a strong scent. It's perfume. You can't use your Astra without your Link. Interesting. So that adds another layer to the fights. So that leaves a question of what was Ko's Link? Because he could use Ashura, and then suddenly he couldn't. So I'm wondering what his Link was. Because everyone seems to have some sort of Link. Yeah, I don't know. I'm starting to like Astro Royale. It kind of takes a while. It takes, like a solid volume. But I'm liking it. Is it like my favorite thing in Jump? No. Am I madly in love with it? Not really. But do I like it? Yeah, I'm liking it. it's really cool to see some gangster genre being represented in today's modern anime manga media. Um, yeah, I'm not too knowledgeable in that respect, but I will say I do like this genre, or at least trope of, you know, carrying the law in your own hands. Like I love any anime or manga with like delinquents, excuse me, or like yakuza. So I really dig the vibes of this series, I guess. Have I seen Red Windbreaker? It's like Tokyo Revengers, but better. No, I know it's supposed to be really popular right now. I don't know if it ended or if it just started or what. I know it's supposed to be really popular. But if you're claiming it's better than Tokyo Revengers, I'll have to check it out. Thank you for the recommendation. Gets pretty emotional, pretty traumatic. All right, cool. So I started at 3 o'clock. I think what we'll do is we'll read this last chapter, and then we'll wrap things up. So we're on chapter 10. So of course we got our cliche healing ability. Kinji, is that his name? Genji, excuse me. Leech heal. So he can kind of spend his own calories to heal other people. So the characters to feed Genji, they're getting dressed up in chef's costumes. There's a reference to something else in page 6 or 7. I don't know what the reference is, but one of the characters suddenly looks like a lord or something like that. So we get introduced to a new character, Tora. He shows up to the cook-off the characters did, which at first seems kind of silly, but I like where they were going with this. So Tora comes to pay his respects at the headquarters of the gang, and they're talking about Shio, the brother that has become like a big source of power in the family. And he reveals that Shio stole his link to his Astro. He's hunting Astro. So again, I said that earlier, this makes for an interesting element to the fights because they're not just, abilities that people have. You have this other element of like, okay, you have to know how to use your Astro, and then you have this other tactic of, well, now you need to protect your link or you are basically useless. So I wonder like, how does that play out? Like, I don't think if you didn't have an Astro and then you take someone's link, you can use it. But like, is this the farthest this goes as far as like, if you just don't have your link, like you're done? Does it kind of lead to altering of abilities? Are there like stages? Leaves a lot of questions. And on the topic of unanswered questions, I think we'll leave things off there. Let me see what people were commenting. So in regards to Windbreaker, it's just new, just better animation. The story is not it. Okay, so different take. Interesting. Party Jams is anime only, but he likes what he saw. The cook-off felt so random, but luckily it didn't overstay its welcome. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it was weirdly timed, considering it was just picking up momentum. But it, for what it was aiming for, it hit the nail on the head. Power system isn't super fleshed out just yet. That's so far, as of, I know I'm a few chapters behind still, but as of chapter 10, I think the two strong points of the series right now are Hibaru. I think he is a combination of everything we like about Takamichi and everything we like about Mikey, but also is still unique. Like, he's greater than the total sum. Synergy. Yeah, I think that's the word I was looking for earlier. And also, the power system seems to slowly be getting more and more unique, because right away it seems pretty generic, but we're getting unique abilities. That's one concern, right? Are they just going to be all the same abilities we've seen in like every other battle type series? But it doesn't seem to be the case. It seems to be that we're getting some interesting abilities, and there seems to be layers to it. So I think what will make or break this manga is A, the ceilings for Hibaru, because he's okay right now, but he needs to get to good, right? The fleshing out of the other characters. So right now we have some pretty decent chemistry going, but that needs to continue, and these characters need to be fleshed out. And then the power system needs to be fleshed out, because right now it's okay for just 10 chapters in, but if it stays like it is, considering it's a battle series and considering it needs to stand out, I don't know what I can say about the future of the fights in this series, especially considering how fast a series like Kagurabachi stood out in just 10 chapters. But again, we'll have to be patient. We'll just have to see kind of what happens with the series. I don't think it's gonna blow up like Kagurabachi did. Maybe it could see some success and a possible anime adaptation down the line if it just kind of stays consistent. but I don't know for sure. But on that note, a ton of great questions, a lot of great discussion today. Just want to thank everyone that came in, even if it was just for a quick second to say that you like the videos. Always appreciate people saying that. Is a ton of support for whenever I'm working on the channel. And I want to thank all the regulars who always comment on the videos and always try and make an appearance in the chat. I did a better job of streaming at a more convenient time for everybody, and B, giving everyone a heads up, and that seems to have helped out a bit. So in the coming weeks, I would like to try and keep this up as far as scheduling and consistency. So as far as this week, I can't promise that I'll do another stream. I might try and do another one Friday or Saturday. Probably, if I do another one, it'll most likely be Saturday. We'll see. And then we might try for another Shonen Jump stream on Sunday, because I would like to do regular streams on Sundays. But on that note, thank you again, everyone. It's been a ton of fun, as always, and I hope